And hello and welcome, guys. My name is Soham Rane, and I'll be your host for the 7th iteration of the Great Indian Esports Raffle. Here we discuss everything Indian and everything esports. A little housekeeping before we get started. We will be trying to present ourselves in a way where we assume that the listener doesn't know anything but the basics of the domestic circuit. We appreciate all forms of feedback. Feedback on the previous podcast with Archie has been good. The chill undertone to the entire thing felt and went great with our supporters, and we will bring the same magic to this podcast too. And speaking about this podcast, we have a guest who has been in line for a very long time. Yes, we finally have Raunak Crowley Sen on our podcast, the absolute poster boy and prodigy of a gamer. He has been playing professionally since 10th or 12th grade, I believe. And his career in Dota 2 also began somewhere around there. So he brings a lot to the table, definitely, to our discussion. And without further ado, I bring you Raunak Crowley Sen. I'm live here with Raunak Crowley Sen. Raunak, thank you for coming on the podcast.
Uh, I'm glad to be on the podcast, bro.
Okay, so what's your current designation if you were to put? What would we designate you by?
Uh, Designation position 4/5 player for Signify,
Okay, so that being said, what's been occupying
and
your.
and the captain.
You're the captain? I thought it was Pasol.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a.
No, Pascal is sitting out now for a while.
Alright, so Mr. Captain, what's been occupying your time lately?
So you like my daily schedule?
Yep, what's.
So we wake up in the morning, 10,
Okay,
11, something.
okay,
Then we play like 6, 7 games of practice and some personal games like pub games.
I
So
see.
it's like 10 games a day at least.
That's great, that's great. I hope that. And how has your today been? I believe you had to play a number of qualifiers. How has that gone?
Today was a very bad day because
Okay.
ex- I was interrupted. Today was a very bad day because we lost most of our games in the early rounds.
I see.
So there was some
Ah,
misplay
well.
today, but the previous qualifier which we played yesterday was like pretty good. So
Okay.
we are
I
hanging
believe
out
the
there.
morale is there at the in between somewhere. Yeah. So
It's semi-fucked, but it's there somewhere in between.
okay, that's great
Yeah,
to hear. So at this point,
yeah.
I'd like to note that we will not be going with the usual first a few topics on India and then their life and origin and gaming kind of podcast. Our focus will be much more towards a dialogue between a content creator and a professional gamer. Most of what you'll see will be impromptu in nature. And that being said, Crowley, to take you from A to Z, where does the name come from?
It's a song from the artist Ozzy Osbourne,
Okay. Mr. Crowley, I see.
and yeah, Mr. Crowley. He used to sing for the band Black Sabbath. Then he moved on and made his own band. So
Mm-hmm. All right.
there's the history in that. So
That's pretty cool.
you
And
let's
following that, I
yeah.
guess we can ask what kind of music are you into? What's your current playlist on Spotify or
I'm
Sound,
I'm
whatever you
I'm
use?
I'm mostly into metal, but
Okay.
nowadays since none of my teammates listen to metal,
That's
and
sad to
I'm
hear.
the one with the speaker control in the house. We've been listening to different type of shit. So
Uh-huh.
it's
Trying
like
new
the
genres, you can say.
it's it has some Punjabi courtesy of Swifty and Balaji and some
I see.
rock/trance type mix things going on. But
Mm-hmm.
I obviously prefer metal.
I see. And that being said, I have been following your social media lately, and with that, I have to ask you, what is your obsession, firstly, with beards?
Uh, it's just a thing which happens over time, I guess. The first thing, like,
I believe
I
you're
give
one
my
of the
beer.
very prominent beards of Instagram kind of hashtagger. So what's with that?
Yes, yes. See, everyone has their Instagram whore moment. So, hashtag beards
Okay,
of Instagram is mine. So,
I see.
I don't think there's any shame in it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes in life,
Obviously.
but not the other one.
Okay,
So,
okay. We get that, we get that. And that being
yeah.
said, the second obsession with Vikings, the TV show. What's with that?
Have you watched Vikings
I
before?
haven't seen a single episode, I'm sorry.
So, the story and the myth behind all the gods like Loki, Thor, and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So
Nordic mythology.
not yeah, Nordic mythology. So it's like pretty interesting. They show how Vikings first like invaded all the places, how they made their own boat and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically Norse mythology from scratch, and
Correct.
they have like pretty hot actors in the show. So I
I
think you
see.
should check it out.
Yeah, I believe the production levels have been commented as being very good,
Yeah,
right?
it's very legit, and the storyline
Okay.
is so it's basically how they show the brutalness of the Vikings and how they don't give a fuck about anything other than fighting and
Mm-hmm.
raiding and getting like gold and stuff.
I
So,
see. Sounds interesting. And that being said, the last obsession with Jaeger bombs. What's that now?
um, I'm a man with a day job nowadays. JAGERBOMB
Okay.
obsession used to be something in the past when
Oh.
like I was jobless for a while, so it's
Okay.
okay.
That's all in the past
I
now, you
still
could
love
say.
Jaeger. No, no, I still love Jaeger bombs, but there's no obsession. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
something you
It's
do
gone down.
once a month or something.
I see. I'm not sure whether to pity you there, but okay, we'll move on.
Yeah.
So, I believe our listeners would be interested in knowing which international players do you talk with, like on a daily not on a daily basis, but on a casual basis. Who do you know and what do you
Hmm.
talk with?
Not like on a very personal level. I know like Balba and all, but
I see.
like I don't talk much. It's just been team since the past few days. Like
Mm-hmm.
typical C players here and there, like tier two, tier one, not tier one like TNC Miniski, like
Okay.
tier two teams like
Mm-hmm.
EVOS and all. We're
I'm
like
sure
good
we see the
friends. Game.
Facebook banter every now and then, all
Yeah,
of
yeah,
us.
yeah. So like it's
And
hard to take names. It depends, right? You
yeah,
don't
yeah, yeah.
just
I
go feel
understand.
like talking to someone. It just happens once in a
Mm-hmm.
while. So
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people, but
Okay. And that being said, what insight do you have that can be shared from those people? Is there anything you can
what
share with us
what
here?
type of insight? Like gameplay
Uh,
department, alcohol department, after party
Go for
department.
anything, whatever you'd like to speak on.
I It depends. Like I don't really want to go deep,
Okay, no
but
problem, no problem.
we
So,
don't really talk game. Like my personal belief is that like some of us at least everyone in Signify is at that level. Like we casually talk to other like
mm-hmm.
teams and players, not for the like discuss gameplay and stuff. It's
But
just
at a
normal.
casual level, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's a very casual level. Yeah.
Okay, so all that being said, my first question to you, beginning with now, is when did you start gaming?
Uh, I don't remember the year, but I was
Okay,
like in like ninth or tenth grade
okay,
or eighth. Let's go for eighth grade.
okay. So,
Um,
from 8th grade, I believe you capitalized into being a professional gamer pretty soon. When did that happen?
Capitalized as in the first time when I made money playing games was in a college tournament playing CS.
Okay,
My first prize money was like 5 or 10 grand, like split into
okay.
five.
Ah,
So,
okay. I was
so
like,
that
oh,
time
that was quite.
money wasn't the motivation.
I see.
So it was just like competition. I was this motherfucker who used to abuse people on LAN and stuff
Uh
like
huh.
that, like
I
trash
believe there
talker,
are good
man.
records of that all over the internet.
Let's not go over there.
Yeah, we'll not go over there. Don't worry. So, everybody knows you as the prodigy Dota 2 player in India, but not many people know about your COD, Call of Duty background. So, there was a time when you defeated some player who had come from some country in India and you're at your absolute best. That this story I
Uh,
believe I had picked up somewhere when we had met in Pune. What was that about? Can you elaborate
we
on
met
that?
in Pune.
Yeah, sometime I believe you were talking about this and I was there in the background. Anyways, so what was
Uh,
it?
so he was a player playing in Fnatic.
Okay.
Uh, his nickname was Kyochi or something, I believe. You'll
Mm-hmm.
find that video on YouTube, I guess. So in COD there used to be roles like Dota, so Assaulter, SMG, and Sniper. So
Hmm.
we used to play SMG.
Hmm.
SMG is normally the guy who goes in, like rushes in and stuff
Oh,
like that.
okay.
So even he was SMG, I was SMG, and like we played on one-on-one and I won. So that was something good.
I see. At what age did that happen?
11 or 12.
Are you serious? 11 or 12. Age, you're saying, not
Yeah.
standard.
Yeah.
Age.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty
Age,
cool.
age.
I mean, I don't believe that many people can boast about some achievement like that.
So how
So,
I started COD was right. Like I used to be a CS player before Dota, and when I first saw there was this tournament called God of Gaming back in the day. It used to happen in shopping centers and slash malls.
okay.
Um, so they were projecting this game on the big screen, right? And I look
Hmm.
at the game. I like it for a CS player. A game with like no crosshair and like only iron sight. It just right click and shoot, right? There's no
Hmm.
recoil control and nothing like that.
The
So it felt
mechanics are
very
easier, you can say.
yeah. It just felt very easy, and that was the first time I tried out COD in a tournament,
Okay.
and I ended up winning a 10-15K graphic card at that point,
Wow,
like
that's
in
pretty cool.
2008, 2007 or 8.
Hmm.
So that was like good stuff back in the day, winning graphic cards and stuff.
That's pretty nice. That's pretty nice. And now, that being said, how did the transition to Dota happen professionally?
Professionally, I don't actually remember when I actually started playing professionally. Like
It just happened.
my brother, I used to play CS in the cyber cafe. My brother used to play both.
Okay.
Eventually, I started playing both, but Dota was a game which felt like people used to play shitty games that time, like Dawn of War, CNC and stuff. If you know those games,
Yeah, I
Age of
understand.
Empires and stuff. So I had that feeling that like real men play CS types.
Okay, the
But
chauvinism.
but
Okay. Mm-hmm.
but eventually, like online gaming happened. CS, I didn't play like enjoy playing CS online, like
Okay,
with people, and like Dota somehow turned up to be more fun, I guess.
I see. And that's just how it happened naturally, you can say.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've played through the ages. I believe you've played from Dota 1 all the way. And that being said, what are
Yeah.
your thoughts on Reborn and Dota Plus? So,
What
firstly,
the
let's.
fuck is a reborn?
Dota Reborn, when Dota 2 Reborn happened.
Let me Google Dota reborn. Wait.
Come on,
Dota
are you kidding me?
reborn. I don't remember updates
When.
by the name,
Okay,
bro. What the fuck?
7.00.
I don't
7.00
write.
when that
I
happened. That was called
I don't.
Reborn. Okay, fine. Let's
I don't.
abandon that thing and let.
Uh,
Okay, what are your thoughts on
are you say okay? Are you saying when Dota was completely changed and given a new
exactly?
UI and shit?
Yeah,
Okay.
talents and everything. No, I think we are
So
messing this up. Let's just jump to Dota Plus. I'll edit that out. Okay,
okay,
so
okay.
let's get back in the flow. What are your thoughts on Dota Plus?
It's completely garbage and demotivating.
Okay, can you
So so
elaborate on
so,
that?
so if, for example, you're playing support, right?
Okay.
Uh, your goal is to have like 2 kills, 1 death, and like number of assists.
Hmm.
Your net worth is supposed to be like what? It shows like for most support hero like above 2000 or something. In like 10-15 minutes, and if you're playing position 5, you end up buying like all the wards, sentry, and stuff,
Correct.
and your net worth is below like the like standard.
Hmm.
It's so demotivating. It's like even if you're having like 0-0-0 score and like some assist, you're ganking well or something. I
Uh-huh.
just don't like that red thing when
Okay,
I'm playing.
I see. So you're not a big fan of it at all.
No, I like I the reason I use Dota Plus is someone gifted me because so
Okay,
like
I
I
see.
wouldn't buy Dota Plus.
Uh,
Why the
hmm.
fuck would I want to know what the majority of the world takes? Which
Okay.
skill do they take or why?
Hmm.
Like
And there
it's
you
just for
have it.
beginners. Like it's really good for beginners like who don't have a Dota background.
Okay.
Like if you no one has played Dota 1,
Hmm.
like they would want to know how the pros play, and like
Correct.
majority of the
That aspect
percentage
of
wants
Dota
to
Plus.
skill this that like because learning Dota on your own is kind of fucked up, I
Yeah, I
guess.
don't think it is virtually possible also.
Yeah,
You certainly
might as
require
well
somebody
might
to
as well
teach.
do engineering. Might take the same time.
That's quite the comparison there. Okay, and that being said, I believe your fans have a question to you, and this I've actually got from a person. His name will be untold for now. The question
Hmm.
is it the company who restricts you, or have you trained yourself over the years to simply not give a shit about masala?
Uh, I give a lot of shit about Masala, but nowadays I don't show it
I
on
see.
social media.
Okay. So,
It depends. Like before, like we had no contracts and stuff like that, right? Like
correct.
my first contracted team was Oblique Gaming and then Neck Break.
I
Not
see.
Neck Break, Oblique Gaming and some. I was in a team with Cooler Master. I forgot the name.
Okay.
Uh, I've changed a lot of teams in the
Oh,
past, so
we understand.
not teams, organizations actually, but so over time you get this professional vibe, right? That
Correct.
you're a brand and you're not supposed to fuck up.
Okay. Okay. So maintaining that
So
image as a brand
ne-
is where you're going with.
yeah, it like people used to tell me that you're supposed to do this and that, and eventually it came from the inside. So
Okay, so it is something that has come naturally to you, how you handle it, and you believe you've taken it properly, professionally, and you're at a good place,
uh,
you can say, with regards to masala.
not really, but I'm nearby, I
Okay,
guess.
that's good to hear. That's
Mm.
good to hear.
Yeah.
So we'll now go to a different type of questions. So, how did the career of your education look like? If you were to compare the trajectories of your academics and of your gaming career, which looked better during 10th and 12th?
My mom, she was like, if you want to do gaming when I was in eighth also, she literally said that as long as you're happy and earning money, she does not give a fuck.
In 8th
That those were
standards.
lit eighth,
Wow,
ninth, like those were literally her words.
I
So
see.
I'll just leave that topic over there.
Okay,
And
never
even
mind.
my brother was a gamer, so I never had that even like this one point where the pay was very low. That
Okay.
time, like really low. We
Hmm.
started off really low, okay?
Correct.
I won't reveal numbers, but it was not like good.
Hmm.
It was like very bad. Not very bad, but like, you could sustain yourself, but it's not like it's not something you would go and tell your parents that, hey, I earn this much now
Hmm.
and for full-time gaming.
Hmm. Hmm.
So that time there was a discussion once upon a time that
What
money
your
you
future
get,
would look like and everything.
the only money you earn is from winning tournaments. And is there a legit scene? That time we didn't have salaries.
Okay,
And even if we had salaries, no one, the sponsor would not pay for travel
I see.
or
Uh-huh.
stay. So it was like getting travel and stay and
The
not
scene
receiving any
wasn't
money.
where
Yeah,
it
yeah, yeah.
was. Correct. Where it is, I
So,
mean.
so basically, it just nullifies.
Hmm.
So we are the team we used to win all the time. Like we still win all the time, but we used to win all the time. But if you think from a different perspective, the teams who want to travel to, for example, Mumbai to Hyderabad, right?
Okay.
Top two or top three prize wasn't like enough to sustain their trip, and like
Hmm.
back then, no one used to think of profit. It's like, yeah, we'll go, we'll have fun, we'll cover our expenses, yeah, we'll come back.
I see.
But if you're a team who's coming second or third, it right
Your
the
mic is
the
stuttering.
price. Hello.
Huh, much better. Go ahead.
So I was saying, if you're a team who wants to finish like top two or top three, right?
Hmm.
It doesn't make much sense for you to like. It's
Go.
just yeah, it's just like back then everyone was in college and like school, and most of them and their families they didn't know people. They play Dota, they bunk tuitions and colleges to play Dota.
Hmm.
So that time it was rough for some people I knew. So
I understand. But as a scene, we have much better. You can definitely argue for that.
yeah, yeah. Scene today is very much better. Like there are a lot of organizations nowadays
Hmm.
supporting gamers. I see Facebook live streams happening here and there. I
Correct.
see I see like even the players who don't have much achievement have some kind of sponsor. People are branding themselves.
Hmm.
Brands
Hmm.
are approaching more and more new gamers,
Hmm.
streaming and stuff like that. Like it's becoming
Correct.
something like it is abroad, basically.
Correct. I see.
It's low,
Taking.
but it's going there that way.
Okay. Okay. Taking the difficult questions ahead, the next
Okay.
one that I have for you is, do you honestly feel, given your place at the skill level, you are where you
Mhm.
belong?
Uh,
You can take your
Tough
time.
question.
You can take your
Uh,
time.
I don't think so, but I am still here because of the decisions I made, obviously.
Mm-hmm. So you take
So
responsibility for where you are, obviously, and that's where you're
yes,
coming from. But
yeah,
you believe you can be at a much better place.
yeah,
Definitely. Like,
yeah,
okay. We can leave it at that. And that
yeah,
being said, have you ever been approached by an international team that we know of?
yeah, many times, like twice or thrice at least.
Okay, so
But I chose not to go because of my family scene. So
oh, I see. Okay. And that being said, has a lot of tournaments in India with good money affected your drive and passion for the game? Does that fluctuate with how the money goes, or is that something that is just consistent in you? That Dota 2 is where I will be in my life 3 years from now, 4 years from now, regardless of everything? Or will every all these other aspects affect your career in Dota?
are you saying would I still continue playing Dota if the game was dead?
Not dead exactly, but if it wasn't as profitable as it is now, if the scene suppose goes in a slump, would you still be with Dota, or would you need to change? Is that's my question.
For now, like simple answer to that question is like I haven't played a different game since 4 or 5 years.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. Not
And
even like CS, like very occasionally time pass for like one map or something.
okay. So it definitely is Dota all the way.
It is Dota all the
Yeah,
way.
I believe you sound like capitalist who recently said, "I'm going till Dota till it dies." So okay,
Pretty much, yeah.
yeah, that's a nice place. That's good. Talks a lot about your passion for it. And that
I'm not young enough to learn a new game, man. Honestly, that's the problem.
okay, okay. So now a few questions regarding certain future choices. Did you ever
Okay.
have a choice between casting and gaming like many people do in the international scene and the national scene?
No, not
So
yet.
it was always the gaming side for you.
Yes.
Okay.
Like I
Then
tried doing analysis and stuff, but
yeah,
I
we'll get
just
to
did
that.
it
We'll
out of
get to that.
spite because I was just chilling and
I see.
had nothing to do.
So you that being said, you did do some analyst work for ESL India that comes on your resume. So you did some sorry. So you did some analyst work for ESL India on your and that comes on your resume. Do you see a
Hmm.
future where you really get into that, or was that just a one-off thing as you described earlier?
Uh, I actually enjoyed it, but
Okay. As a
in the
future
future,
career choice,
in
if that presents to
yeah,
you.
I would obviously go for coaching first, but
Okay.
analysis is something which is not off the charts also. Like I would do it
I see. It
if
is
necessary.
okay.
Like few years down the line, not right in like in the next 3 4 years, but eventually, I guess, when
Hmm.
my hands don't work anymore, I guess.
Okay. So that leads us on right nicely to the next question. The last time I spoke with Nishant on this podcast, he mentioned how
Which
Indian
Nishan?
Nishant Patel Cloudx.
Okay, okay.
So he mentioned how Indian players do not value a coach. What are your thoughts on that?
We've never had a coach, so we don't value a coach. My ex-teammates from NTT had a coach.
Mm-hmm.
They had mixed emotions about the coach, I guess.
Okay,
So we will know when we actually have a coach. I
I
can't
see.
comment on that right now.
Okay, no problem. So I had noticed somewhere in between where you had begun streaming. So what are your thoughts on professional players streaming? Whether doing that hinders simple growth as a player playing pubs, since you need to attend the chat and you need to talk with the people watching, or will we see you
Like
stream? Does that hinder
streaming,
the growth? Yeah.
streaming is honestly very important for every player in every game.
Okay. I mean, you see
So
that
like
purely as a brand building thing for the player, right? Is that your approach to it?
yes,
Okay.
like some people enjoy doing it for themselves. Like eventually your goal is to build the brand, get viewers and get sponsors, right?
Okay. Correct.
Yeah.
So,
So, but it's just something people do it like it's like a day job streaming for people.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It used to be mine, but then team happened.
I see. Yeah, I
So
believe
it's
you
not.
had some partnership with Zotac, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, I had like few brands, Zotac being the main one of
I
them at
see.
the time.
And that being said, will we see you streaming anytime soon? Or is it just
Uh,
pubs for you now?
yeah, we'll be streaming soon on Signify channel, I believe, which I'm not sure, but I think it should start in the following week or so.
Okay.
I haven't streamed since Jan or Feb last year, so it's been a while. I guess I'll go and be clowny for a while.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I believe your fans surely are looking forward to that. And with that, we'll move to some personal questions from the past. So, regarding
Personal questions from the past.
past, let's
Woo!
see. Yeah, the tough round, you can say. Uh, how did you know that you were going to do gaming as a full-time job? How? I'm asking how.
Have you heard of something called YOLO?
Okay, so seriously, is
Uh,
that all
no,
the
yeah.
that's
Uh,
sufficient reason? You believe?
yes.
Okay, there you
Going
have
with
it.
the flow, still doing it, bro.
The best Dota 2 player in India saying that his career choice has been YOLO. Okay, that's great. So,
See, because it was never hard for me because my parents never said anything, right?
correct.
Like
You had the freedom.
yeah, I had the freedom, so that
Okay.
was not a problem.
So, that being said, how were the early days of Dota in India? How was life like when you decided that you aren't going further in academia, but it was Dota? How did life look like then? So,
It was pretty shit for me, actually, because I was this guy, my mom would not send me to faraway tournaments alone, so I always had to tag my brother along, and
okay,
she did not trust my teammates at the time.
I see.
And I used to end up ditching my teammates for like outstation tournaments like Hyderabad, Bangalore back in those
Okay,
days.
okay, I see.
Because these guys they used to travel in bus or trains, and my mom she did not want me traveling in bus or trains, and
Mm-hmm.
she did not want me going on a flight alone also back then. So
Okay. So, that being said, now you're obviously at a much better place professionally. Are there
yep.
certain timetables or rituals that you follow to stay pro or stay at the top of your game that we noobs can adopt?
Uh, like I said earlier, right? 10 games a day, wake up on time, follow schedule. Following schedule is something which is very hard. Even I'm adjusting.
Okay.
Uh, like
So,
it's your end of the day you're an athlete, right? You need to get
mm-hmm,
X number of X hours of sleep to play X hours of good Dota. So
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, sticking to a schedule and just playing as much as you can. I believe that's your
yeah,
advice
yeah,
in that
and
sense.
stay motivated. You should know like how to stay motivated.
Okay, that leads me nicely to the next question. How does the motivation aspect work for you? You have been through an endless number of organizations, an endless number of up and downs in life. We get to see only the figures and positions in the tournament that you come. But there's an
Hmm.
entire life of Raunak Crowley Sen that none of us see regarding the motivation aspect. So, how does that work out for Crowley?
Motivation, it depends. Like for example, right? You watch esport events, you picturize yourself being on the big stage,
I see.
playing Dota on the big stage,
Mm-hmm.
thinking
Mm-hmm.
you'll qualify one day and like get direct invites and stuff like that. So that is
Mm-hmm.
one part of motivation.
Just a man with
Other
some
motive,
dreams, you can say.
yeah, other motivation comes from random places. I'm not getting an example right now, but but just playing on that huge ass stage is like the biggest motivation actually,
I see.
representing India.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and that leads me again to the next question. What have you learned from international LAN events? Any
International
particular?
LAN events. Recently I went to China.
Yes, that you did.
Food is shit.
Okay, so that's your first learning. What's next?
It was very cold.
Okay.
Uh, the organizers think that Dota players don't need 144 hertz monitors.
Oh, that's a thing
Uh,
in Chinese tournaments too?
yeah, it happened in China.
That's sad.
Indonesia was pretty chill. Like everything was sorted.
Okay.
From handling people, like shout out to Gary Chen if he ever watches this video. He
Oh,
was
alright.
the guy handling us in Indonesia.
I see.
Super awesome guy and like showed us around, made us eat all the
Mm-hmm.
YOLO Indonesian stuff, and
Sounds great. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you
he's
had a
that
good
guy
time.
you can. Very.
All right. And
Huh.
with all this in the past, I mean, for the podcast, we'll switch to some banter. That being said, which is your
Okay.
favorite roster in which you've played of all times? There has to be one, definitely.
This is a very fucked
Other
up
than this
question.
one. Other than this one. Other than this one.
Other than this one, it's gotta be with me, Evlash, A35,
The
Prophecy, and
is this
Accurate.
2013 neck break, if I'm not
This
mistaken?
is Oblique Gaming.
Oblique Gaming. Okay, so that's 2012.
No, no, wait. I actually forgot. I'll just look up my page.
Okay.
Wait. Yeah, so like me, A35, Evlash,
And Prophecy.
uh, Prophecy, and first it used to be Accurate, but then he had to leave because of personal problems, and he had like motivational problems at that time.
Okay.
And so we took on Haunted later on. That team at the peak was like doing pretty good, but that time sponsors and stuff were a problem.
Mm-hmm. I see. Okay.
So
And regarding professionalism and sponsors, what are the two best parts about being a professional player in Dota? Two,
best part,
yes. What are the two
uh,
best aspects of your life, if you have to
if
say?
you're like winning a lot, you get this unfuckable feeling which cannot be described in
All
words.
right. Okay. Firstly, the unfuckable feeling. What's next?
Okay. Uh, you get to travel around to places.
Okay. And the traveling. All right. And that being.
Traveling, like you get to see new places. You go to big land.
Mm-hmm.
Like
And
basically
I'm
how I
sure,
spoke about going
other
to
than just
big
traveling, it is the game that is taking
travel.
you there, which adds to the
Yeah.
entire flavor, you can say.
The
Yep.
traveling is not fun. Traveling is actually the more brain fuck part about it.
Okay, but the places is good, is what you're saying.
Yeah, the places are good.
Okay,
Like after
and
tournament, you go sightseeing with your team and do stuff. You go
mm,
drink stuff like that,
okay,
etc.
that definitely sounds fun. That's good part
Yeah,
of your life, definitely. And
yeah.
what are the two worst parts about being a professional Dota 2 player? If there's two
Uh,
things you could just remove from your life right now of being a professional Dota 2 player.
uh, I'm not getting enough sleep nowadays. Like it
Okay,
happens sometimes in between. So
okay.
as I
Firstly, the
said, like
sleep.
maintaining schedules, like schedule, like yeah, you're getting paid to play games, right?
Correct.
You have to like play X number of games and X number of hours to justify like what you're being given and what you're supposed to get,
Obviously, definitely.
yeah,
Hmm.
achieve.
So, first thing is
So,
sleep. What's next?
uh, like sleep is something like it's my personal problem. Like I can't sleep more than 5 6 hours sometimes. So
Oh, okay.
the schedule, maintaining schedule gets hard sometimes. Like
So,
only get hard like when there's a break in between, right?
mm-hmm.
You know, there's no
You
like
lose the
scrims
flow,
the
you
next
can
day.
say.
Yeah, once I lose the flow, it's like pretty hard to get back into it.
Okay, so first is sleep, and second is losing the flow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good answers. And that being said, Dota is about synergy with a team. What can you
Uh-huh.
see Signify achieve in the next 6 months and 2 years? What
Uh,
lies in Signify's road to the future?
the aim is to like qualify for every C event.
Okay.
There's to happen like get regional invites first, then like eventually end up winning some.
Mm-hmm. That sounds
Like
good.
nowadays we're just going through open qualifiers and like getting to the grind and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So once we're consistent, we'll get invited to regionals and then like there's a process. So
Mm-hmm. Climbing the ladder, as you could say.
climbing the ladder, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And one final question before we move on to our next segment. What has been Crowley's happiest moment in his Dota 2 career?
Nothing to mention, bro.
Acha. So it's yet to come, you can say.
It's yet to come, yeah.
The dreams. The small
Yeah.
boy with small dreams. All right. Okay. And finally, in conclusion, we have a few questions. Is there any decision or thing you wish you could have taken differently in your career? Ooh. Some
Uh,
tiny path if you could have chosen differently. And if you can share, obviously, with us, we can.
uh, there are some things, but I don't want to share that,
All
so
right, no
fuck it.
problem. And how has your time with Signify been? I think as a spectator of the scene in India, Signify has been able to achieve a very decent balance with roster changes and future planning. What's your
Hmm.
good word you would like to put out here to your boss?
Thank you, Signify, for being like very supporting of the players. Like what they have provided and consistently provide have not been done by anyone else in India before.
Okay,
And they're really like very passionate about the game. And
that's good. That's really great to hear. And
yeah,
with that being said, what are your thoughts on the Cobx International Tournament, SEA level tournament? Sorry.
Cobx is CA level tournament. Like I'm expecting something very big. Like not something like IGC which happened before. Like this is what everyone asks me, right? Because they know I'm and
Mm-hmm.
somewhere like Signify used to be Cobx and stuff. So
Okay. And that brings us to our final question. And in final thoughts, what are your advice for young budding Dota 2 players around Indian esports?
young biting Dota 2 players around Indian esports are
I mean,
uh
I'm willing to
एक
listen
second.
to the harsh advice that you have. Okay.
Yeah. Waiting for my teammates. So what was the question again?
Advice for young budding Dota 2 players around Indian esports.
Keep trying hard is one thing.
Okay.
Do not give a fuck what society says.
All right. Mm-hmm.
Uh, some YOLO moves in life in this lifetime is fine.
All right.
Uh, don't do drugs.
Okay, so keep trying, and a little YOLO is good in your life. Don't do drugs,
Yeah.
and I believe that brings us to the conclusion of our podcast. So, we at ASidCast thank you for your precious time. Everyone at ASidCast wishes nothing but the best for your future career and the progress of Signify. We look forward to working around you guys, creating content in the near future, and that's it from us from our side. So, thank you again, Crowley, for coming on our podcast. This was the seventh episode of the Great Indian Esports Raffle. Anything you would like to say in the end?
Uh, no.
Okay. And that's it. That's it from us from this time. Be sure to tune in from the next time, and we will see you then. Bye bye.
Bye bye.